So the principle of the power supply, so as we'll learn from the other videos, for the power supply, filtering part is here, then the switching part is here, and transformer, transfer the voltage to the other side. Common problem with the power supply, you're gonna find it between the MOSFET and the oscillator. Here we have 110 volt. It's gonna go to the MOSFET. Then the MOSFET is gonna wait. It's gonna wait for the wave from the oscillator to give the big wave to the transformer. So this is the basic of the power supply. This oscillator is gonna give us a wave, and the MOSFET is gonna cut on and off similar to that wave, but it's a big shape. So the voltages go here, it stop here. It will wait for the wave, and the MOSFET is going to start giving the voltage to the transformer. If we don't have this wave, all the power supply is not going to work. So let's check if we have the wave and how is the wave look like, what the shape of the wave using the oscilloscope, the $20 one and the 300 and over ones, and see how they looks, both of them. EC to DC section, rectifier bridge, filter capacitor to the MOSFET, and the MOSFET is gonna wait for the signal from the oscillator to start cutting on off, and that's on off is gonna send the high voltage to the power supply for it to give the voltage to the other side of the transformer. If you have the voltage here, the problem between the oscillator and the MOSFET. You test the MOSFET for the short, there is no short. Then you need to take the MOSFET out and test it with this little device. And you can see is a MOSFET, is not resistor or diodes, or because when the MOSFET burn, it may show as a diode sometime. When you test it with the multimeter, it doesn't give you a short, or even it came like a resistor, like 100 ohm or over than that, is not going to give you a short when you test it with the multimeter. So when you test it with this device, it's telling you this is a MOSFET, so it's still good. Come to the oscillator, the switching IC. How are we going to test the switching IC? To test the switching IC, you may get like a little device like this one. This is a $20 mini oscilloscope, just to test the oscillator. It doesn't do much, but it will help you figure out the problem. So let me show you here. So this board, it works. We have 12 volt here, we have 30 volt here. So the power supply, it works. So let's see how the wave in the oscillator when it works. So let's unplug the board. So be sure you know what you're doing, because this is a high voltage. You don't want to short nothing. You don't want to touch it with your hand. The black wire is going to go to the negative of the capacitor, the big capacitor. To know where is the gauge of the MOSFET. So you can see here, this big resistor is connected to the negative of the capacitor, and that's the source. So here, this is the source, and it's go here, and it's go here. So this is the source. The other side of the MOSFET that's connected, the drain of the MOSFET is connected to the transformer. So what's left is the gauge. So this is the gauge, and if we check on these resistors, so it's go to this 470 ohm, 47 ohm, and from that 47 ohm it's go to IC. So we can measure from here before the resistor, the 47 ohm resistor. Usually the gate, you're gonna find a low ohm resistor, something under 100 ohm. So this is the resistor, and we're gonna measure from here. If you measure from the other side, it's kind of the same. Just try to measure somewhere far from the heat sink or the other components. So let's see if the power supply is on. Yep, the power supply is on. And let's see how is if we have any wave, any signal from the switching IC to the MOSFET to start switching. You can see that peaks over there. That's the wave. Here there is one line, and here we can get that. So 1 volt. Yeah, that's the maximum that this one can test. That's a little wave. All right, you can see that. So here, let's try again. Yep, it's freeze when the time is. So this is the maximum that it's showing you, but it's showing you there is a little wave. It's just a little line. You can see now there is just a line, and here is a wave. So this is telling you that the switching IC works. So let's go here to the oscilloscope. We'll connect this one to the ground, same thing, and this one is going to go to this resistor here. Let's turn on power supply. So let's measure here. You can see that wave. You can see the wave now, it's just like a little line. Let's see if we have a square wave. So this is the square wave. So this is show clear. This oscillator, it's working fine. So we have 5 volt and there is 1 kilohertz the wave. The mini oscilloscope, it shows just a lines like this, but with this oscilloscope we can get the wave. And this is how you know the switching IC works or no. And this is all for this video, and we'll see you on next one.